fist loved everyone.
Wait. That's cute.
Someone you love is here. We're your family, not your enemy. Someone you love is here.
Ryer! Hey, Ryer! You're looking good up there, man.
How do you know your neighbor's straight? 2, 4, 6, 8. How do you know your neighbor's straight? 2, 4, 6, 8. How do you know your neighbor's straight? 4, 6, 8. How do you know your neighbor's straight?
What do we want?
Equal rights.
When do we want them?
Now.
How's that?
Is that good?
That was beautiful. Want to kiss her?
Wow.
She bowls me over every time.
So that one just Thank you.
I've always wanted to say this. On behalf of the state of Montana, welcome to Pride. And as
Stand for president.
Oh, God, no. Stands for legislature, that will suffice. On behalf of everyone who is a member of Pride, I am really so thrilled to see us all here in Bozeman and to continue to grow. As one of the founders of Pride, it just really warms my heart to see that every year there are more and more of us who come together to really celebrate being who we are. And as I thought about this weekend and the theme of being all one family and my having been in the legislature, I thought about the theme around what it really takes to be a family and also to be in the legislature. And it's two different things. One is courage. And courage is a very important part of who we all are. I know that with many of the threats that a lot of us have heard about this weekend, that for some people it really has taken courage literally to be here. Is that anybody here take courage to be here? Yes, it does take courage. And I think in families and for my being in the legislature, one of the primary things that it takes is to be who we are, the courage to be who we are. And that is not a minor issue for most of us. I can tell you certainly many days in the legislature when I woke up in kind of a cold sweat wondering what is going to happen today and really having to go through a little mantra I developed for myself, which was I have a right to be who I am, I have a right to be here, and I have a right to be respected. And that it does take courage. And I would say that for us here today, we have a right to be who we are, we have a right to be here, and we have a right to be respected for who we are. And that's really true in all of our families, whether it's the family of being the state of Montana or it's the queer family that's here today and all of our families and friends who've come together, is that it's important that we actually be known for who we are and not for whom other people think we are. And that takes courage of each of us to be out and more out all of the time, to talk to our families of origin, to talk to our neighbors, to talk to our churches, to talk to our legislators about who we really are and what our problems are and what we need for our own lives. And from that can really come true joy. There can be joy in families, but we also know there's hell in families. And until there is real honesty and a willingness to deal with people as they really are, there cannot be joy. So I want to thank you on behalf of the state of Montana for being who you are and for being here. Have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you, Diane. You know, a good friend of mine who happens to be straight and a supporter of our community said to me recently, the Christian Coalition and others like them should realize that it's partly due to their efforts that there even is a gay community. Now, on first thought, I agreed with my friend, and I thought, what a paradox this is, that we wouldn't be coming together for Pride if it weren't for our common bond of oppression. Then I reflected further upon our history, on what it means to me to be gay, on what my experiences have been belonging to a community comprised of lesbians, gay men, bisexuals, transvestites, transsexuals, drag queens, leather queens, radical fairies, queers, and dykes on bikes. Our community finds at its core remarkable creativity, inspiration, humor, intelligence, spirituality. We have common bonds that are ancient, mythical, transcendent. We are not a community that has formed because of oppression. We are a community that has formed in spite of oppression. So don't anyone go leaving here thanking the Christian Coalition for bringing us all together this weekend.
Tolerance means loving not only those who are like you, but also those who are unlike you. And in Bozeman, if you're a straight heterosexual Caucasian, love is pretty easy. There are a lot of straight Caucasian heterosexuals in Bozeman. But what if you're different? What if you're a person of color, or of a different religion, or gay? Bozeman may not seem so friendly to people that are different. Unfortunately, there's a tendency for some of us to think that those who are different from ourselves are other. And it becomes us versus them, black versus white, men versus women, gay versus straight. But your presence today shows our community that gays and lesbians are not others. You're our teachers, our doctors, our attorneys. Sorry about that, but you might sell us clothing, or you might cook us a fine meal in a restaurant. You sit next to us in church. You send your children to the same schools our children go to. And you're our neighbors and our friends. You are truly one of us. The theme for this weekend is all one family, and I want to emphasize all one family. That means everyone, even those people who say hateful things about us. We must love them too. When Jimmy Carter was president, he was quite often embarrassed by his brother Billy. Some of you are old enough to remember that. But his response was always, "You can't pick your relatives." And we all belong to many families. We belong to a biological family, a neighborhood family, a Montana family, an American family. And finally, and most importantly, a human family. Let me say that I'm proud to be part of the same family that you are.
All right.
Member of the Bozeman City Commission.
In his essay, Self-Reliance, Ralph Waldo Emerson speaks of the importance of being true to yourself, even though society might chastise you. He says, "A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, adored by little statesmen and philosophers and divines. With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. He may as well concern himself with his shadow on the wall. Speak what you think now in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again. So you shall be sure to be misunderstood. Is it so bad then to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. This weekend is for you, my friends, and it truly is a time to be proud. Enjoy Bozeman. Thank you.
Thinking about the theme, one family. I thought about you people and who would be here today, and I wondered if I would think of you as my family. Do I think of gay and lesbians in Portland and bisexuals where I live as my family? Do I think of other Native Americans who are gay and lesbian and bisexuals as my family? And what does family mean? What do we want it to mean? Where I come from, my family is a large, extended one. My cousins do not stop at first, second, or third. We have 7th and 10th cousins, aunts who are really only friends of my mother's, more than two grandfathers. My nieces and nephews include children of my brothers and sisters, but also the children of good friends, some of who I consider to be my brothers and sisters. In Browning, I am related to hundreds of people on the Blackfeet Reservation. And I'm related to hundreds of people in Canada as well. You know, that's my family. And I'm serious, these are like blood ties and cultural ties. So when I think of family, that's what I'm thinking of. It's a large extended family, and my family is where I get my support and my sense of humor and my sense of knowing that I'm not alone in the world. And sometimes they even loan me money. I know a lot of people who create family of choice by including friends, partners, and social networks. Sometimes we are forced to go out beyond the circle of our original families because of rejection or bad relationships. Sometimes we move far away from home and we try to find people to support us and care about us. And I hope if that's the situation for some of you, that you're able to find those people for you. But does being gay really join us in such a way that makes us family? Just because we have same-sex relationships, or at least some of us are trying. How many of you are trying? How many of you are trying? Yeah, all right, good. Keep trying. Does that make us family, because we're doing that? Or what do we have in common? That's what I'm looking for. What do we all have in common? And I think in a family, support, love, and respect are norms in a healthy family. We're talking about healthy families here.
I am honored to be in Montana. So when I was asked to speak about family, I thought, well, the thing I probably should do is tell a story. And I believe in stories very fervently because I think it is our stories that hold our truth. It is our stories that hold our history, which we could lose. It's our stories that give us context, and it's stories that show our humanness. So I'm going to start with telling a story about growing up in the South as a little queer girl in Georgia. That was me. You know, I grew up in a farm family, on what they called a dirt farm. You all may know that expression, you may not. I doubt if you have them in Montana. But that family was poor and religious and honest. And they had no words for what I was. I think they thought the struggle with me on the first 14 years of my life was about gender. How in the world to make me into a little girl that could do right as a female. And then I came out in 1954. I was a basketball player. And I came out with a cheerleader. Oh yeah, and I didn't miss a step. I was totally dedicated to my family, and I was queer. I was religious, and I was queer. I was a star basketball player, and I was queer. I was a so-so student, and I was too busy. I was a so-so student, and I was queer. And I was a person who had a terrific commitment to integrity and honesty, and I was queer. And I began to live a life of lies and deception. There was nothing else in this world that would have led me to this life of deception and dishonesty over those years except the sheer terror in my heart at the thought of losing my family and losing my community. I was so fearful that if anyone knew truly who I was, that I would be told by that family and by that little bitty rural community, you are no longer of us. You, from this moment forth, are cast out. It limited my spirit. It limited my hopes and dreams. It limited my sense of self as an honest person of integrity. And it denied me a true and authentic relationship with the family that I loved. And it denied them a true and authentic relationship with the youngest of their 8 children, this queer kid. And then there was 1969 and Stonewall. There was 1968 and the women's movement. And it gave me a context for coming out. It gave me someone to stand shoulder to shoulder with, as you do today, and to come out. When those drag queens and those homeless youth and those people of color stood at Stonewall and said, "You will not deny our humanity, we will fight," it gave me a chance to live. Because of that, I began coming out to my family, one by one, slowly. It has taken me years, since 1969. And I've had with them both rejection and pain and incredible acceptance and love. And because of it, now their lives are fuller, and my lives are fuller. And because of their openness to me, they are now open to the other differences within our family. The single dad raising his kids, the brother who lost his job, the alcoholic now in AA, the sister-in-law with Alzheimer's. They have opened their hearts. We can now talk with one another as real people. Our lives have opened up. We have transformed fear and misunderstanding into a gift. Overcoming silence and homophobia has allowed us to grow in character and to develop our humanity. It's a gift to them and a gift to me. This is also what we offer the larger U.S. family, this country. We offer it as lesbians, gay men, bisexual, transsexual, transgendered, and questioning people. We offer them the gift of humanity, of the possibility of regaining their own sense of humanity. That's why we come here today, our heads held high in pride. We offer this American family, this country, the possibility of fulfilling the dream of democracy, of being that place where people can come together in all of our differences, support one another in our wholeness of being, and create communities that work for all of us, not for a few, but for all. Here is what we say to this U.S. family. We ask you to join us in the belief that all people are of equal worth and are fully human. All people are of equal worth and fully human, whether poor or rich, female or male, person of color or Caucasian, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, transsexual, sexual, or questioning. We ask you to join us in the belief that all people should be supported to live lives of dignity and worth. To join us in the belief that all people should have equality and even-handed justice. We ask no more of you than this simple religious and moral principle: to affirm and live the belief that people are of equal value and should share equally in the world's resources and opportunities. In this belief lies our hope for survival, our hope to flourish. With pride, we offer this country this honored dream of justice and equality. Thanks.
Stand